Alright guys, here we go. Right. Third hour. Well, hello there everyone. Yes, I'm back. It's the third hour, and we're going to carry on now. The Day the Earth Stood Still Watch Party Review. Right, Darren Retro says first. Mwah! There you go, Darren. You get the kiss. Oh, I'd rather kiss someone else. You know, Terry Joyce. You get the first. Please get the first comment in next time. The same video, Hugo Rune says, but this is an old film. I do not need to watch that IMDb link you gave, which I can't access anyway. Why is that, Hugo? You can't access IMDb? Oh, I watched the original long ago, not that I can remember it. So we'll enjoy watching further. Edit, forgive me, fool that I am. This is a super silver haze I'm toking at the moment. I kind of guessed that, Hugo. Yeah, and I reply, this is a review of the original. The remake is crap, I say to Hugo. Yeah, and Hugo says, enjoying this review, but honestly, my comment was just me being mistaken. I know, I know, mate. And Hugo says, honestly, I didn't know there was a remake. Ignorance is bliss. Yeah, mate. I'll tell you what. It is. I'd rather not. Not see the original myself. I mean, ignorance is definitely bliss. In fact, you know, the cliches such as you won't get those two hours back and things like that are overused. But you know, if you watch the remake, you won't get those 2 hours back. And it's a pale imitator as the original, pale imitator. John Nolan says it's simpler. I think you mean similar to the Val Valiant Thor story, Ben. But it was made a few years before. That's right, yes, I should point that out. Strange's book, I think, was... Frank Strange's book was published, I think, in the mid-1950s. A few years... This came out in 1951. So, yeah, that's a good point. The same video, Sue Hayward Tonkin said, I love Michael Rennie and his films and grew up on them. Hey, Sue, how you doing? Thanks for commenting. And John Nolan says... a look at the story of Val Valiant Thor on YouTube. Yeah, it's very interesting indeed. Same video, Tessa111. The message was stop killing each other or else. Yeah, it's Tessa says Michael Rennie was very, very tall. Maybe that's why they cast him to choose the. Maybe that's why they chose him to cast him as the alien. As to the message, stop killing or else. Yeah, stop killing each other or else. It's a morally, like I say, this is a morally ambiguous story. I mean, the blurb talks about a peaceful visitor, but of course, Klaatu is not peaceful. He's capable of doing terrible damage and as he said, you know, that they could destroy the Earth. Even Gort single-handedly could destroy the Earth. There's no limit to what he couldn't do. They have almost miraculous powers, and he. It's almost a kind of paradoxical thing because he says, you know, you're a warlike species. You're taking your first steps into space. You need to stop behaving like this, or we will destroy you. We'll destroy you to protect the rest of the universe. So, in a sense, they use terrible violence, including the destruction of entire planets, to maintain the Pax Universalis. It's not, like I said, it's not all about sprinkling flower petals and singing Kumbaya. It's a much more complicated ethical situation, which makes the film more interesting. Tessa then says here, cracks me up that Dr. Zorba, Ben Casey, or the High Lama from The Lost Horizon is the scientist Klaatu amazes Sam Jaffe, also Gunga Din. Oh, these are other characters those people have played. I'm not familiar with I've not seen Last Horizon or Gunga Din. Well, I've seen the Black Narcissus. Is that it? Is that the one? Is that a character from the Black Narcissus? The Day the Earth Stood Still Watch Party Review. Did the Earth move for you? Says Diego Rivera. Old video now. The Aldborough platform. Rick Horden says, wonderful stuff, Ben. Thanks, Rick. I'm glad you like that. I particularly liked that video, and I very much enjoyed filming it, even though the weather was terrible. Daily Earth should still review. Less than average, Sen. I love you, Ben. Fancy a bum. So I'm not that sort of bloke, mate. I'm sorry. I'm not that sort of bloke. I think, I'm assuming you're male. Yes, you are. No, I'm not that sort of bloke. The lights were low, says on review. Surely, Ben, the man who fell to Earth has got to be on the watch list. Technology from outer space and an alien stranded on Earth for eternity. Yeah, honestly, there were bad connotations with that film because it's one I used to watch an awful lot with Sue Astain, and it'll be sad to watch it again. But it is a really great film. It's a very, very good film. David Bowie, I think he's underrated as an actor. Actually, of course, he's famous in his musical career, but even if he hadn't been a musician, I think he could have been a great actor, and indeed he has doubled up very well as an actor. Much better, a lot of music stars end up being given acting roles. He's more than just like some pop star who takes on an acting role. He is like a really good actor. Good, it's a good film if you've not seen it. BZ Garson says underneath. Says the slightly biased person with Bowie lyrics from Starman and as his username. But I wholeheartedly agree with you. Yeah, the lights were low. In fact, the avatar what's that in your avatar? The lights were low. Oh, he actually has. No, that's not Ziggy Stardust. No, this refers to the song, and I think there's several songs Bowie made where he takes on the alter ego of Ziggy Stardust. This is an alien. And the Starman song, there's a starman waiting in the sky. He'd like to come and meet us, but he thinks he'd blow our mind. And yeah, which is probably true. A lot of the aliens probably think that, actually. Same video, Rod said, "Hi Ben, what about The Forbidden Planet? Another classic." Well, that's a good idea, I think, Rod. Thank you very much. And indeed, we discussed that earlier in the video, didn't we? Or maybe we'll come back to that. Yeah, Neil Peel, the Paranormal Peep Show, says Wales is steeped in UFO history. Oh, isn't it just? It's a very rich location for this sort of thing. Right, psychedelic lectures in Oxford. Musketeer says, as CEO of SpaceX, Musk devotes much of his energy to helping humanity embark on new interplanetary voyages, yet the tech entrepreneur also appears to be in favour of trips of an altogether different kind. All right. Well, Musketeer, I know that he likes a bit of the old Hugo Rune leaf, doesn't he? Because he's even smoked it on the Joe Rogan show. But what's this? Okay. This is Musk, quote, "I've talked to many more people who were helped by psychedelics and ketamine than SSRIs," Musk tweeted. That's interesting. That's he's like pro this use of. As I explained in the video, psychedelics do have, can be used as psychiatric drugs, and they've been very successful. Timmerman's not the first person to come up with this. There's a guy called Stanislav Grof who talked about this. Since then, others such as Graham Hancock have brought this up. Musketeer continues. Elon Musk says people should be open to psychedelics and predicts the next generation of politics. This is all capitalized for some reason. Just the first letters are capitalized. And predicts the next generation of politicians will normalize the substances. Well, Graham Hancock says anyone who thinks about running for public office in the state should be forced to do a session of ayahuasca beforehand. Unfortunately, YouTube deletes this post if it includes links. I'm sure people could find the information for themselves. I'm sure we can, Musketeer. Thank you very much for that. I do liberate things from the spam box, but if you can get it in there without me having to do that, that's always better, because it always takes me a few days to get around to it. The day the Earth stood still watch party live stream, Diego Rivera. Have you heard of the Church of Subgenius, who believe Jehovah is an alien? No. Church of Subgenius. That's an odd name. Subgenius means below genius. Which is it some sort of comedy church like the? Is it some sort of comedy church like the Church of the Flying Spaghetti Monster and things like that? Anyway, same video. Ground Cloud says. Hi Ben, I really enjoyed this video and all of your videos. I like to listen to you. Oh, hang on, what's going on here? Oh no, still going. I was checking the time. Okay. I like to listen to you in the evenings as your voice is very calming. I'm tired to comment on Odyssey. I try to comment on Odyssey, but it keeps asking for a website. Seems to be a common problem, so maybe that's why you have no comments there. Keep up the good work, Sue. Oh, thanks, thanks, Ground Cloud. Thanks, Sue. Odyssey there's actually a notice on Odyssey on their homepage today. They're actually doing a major upgrade. And maintenance work on the site at the moment, which could be because of that, and it could be Ground Cloud. Why? That could be the reason, because I've had no comments on Odyssey now for a couple of months. Same video, Lisa Cry Freedom shares says, good stuff, Ben. So many movies out there hinting most obviously at the truest truths of this existence with regard to ego letting and rising higher. Hey, thanks, Ben. Oh, you're welcome, Lisa. I'm glad you like that. And Lisa says here as well, it's a satire of the majority of humanity, sadly, Ben. Shoot first, ask questions afterwards. Yeah. When I was a little kid, I remember when I saw this film as a small child, and I remember being quite moved by it all. I didn't quite understand the whole issue with, Klaatu actually, the kind of paradoxical nature of Klaatu's threat. Be peaceful or we'll kill you, kind of thing. But there you go. Lisa says this movie always invokes a question for me, Ben. Are there actually controlling baddies out there, or are we on our own worst enemies that under a little apparent control illusion go down so many bad choice paths? I think both. I mean, in a sense, we are our own worst enemies in a way, Lisa. However, out there are aliens of all kinds, including some which do seem to be very aggressive and unpleasant. Luckily, they're a small minority, but they exist. Same video, Lisa, Cry Freedom. The closed mind of the adult human, whose mind is now totally closed to anything but their own ego. Ha, I loved my dad so much, but sometimes he drives me insane. Quote, I'm older than you, Lisa. You cannot possibly know any more than me, unquote. Where'd you go from there? Yeah. With my dad, it's, he loses every bloody debate, and he just refuses to change his mind. As we discussed when you interviewed me for your show, I've just given up. I've given up. A new video. Now this generated a lot of comments. A person goes to OLM. Kerry Woolley says, the pan what? The pan what? Or what the pan what? A person I don't know what you mean, Kerry. Marley Pumpkin says, on a person goes to OLM. Yet another rubbish video. Right, well, Marley, you don't have to watch it, No one's forcing you. Marky Boy says, you jest surely. This stuff is gold dust. Ben is a master of disguise and being furtive. Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. A lot of people, I must say, the response to this video has been exactly what I wanted. My friends love it and my enemies hate it. Perfect. Cat Squatch returns, says, ha ha, laughing there on the same video, and says, good job. Thanks, Cat Squatch. Cat Squatch returns 93, yeah. And Tiberius Kirk says, legend David Jones. Thanks, Tiberius. That's ZXR Alien Warrior to give him his YouTube channel. Been delayed due to the scamdemic. Nothing, it seems, yes, for 2 years. I admire their tenacity, I must say. They've got it done in the end, surely. Jack Parker says, oh, did you see Ben? It must have been an accident. I couldn't bring myself to ask him. I said, they're going to pretend they recognise me. And they did. They said, oh, yeah, we knew it was you all along. But no one actually said so at the time. There were no tweets or Facebook posts saying, oh, Ben, there's Ben's there. Look, he's dressed up. He thinks we don't know him, but he is. We recognise him. But none of them said anything at the time. They only said it afterwards, after they'd seen my video. Jack Parker, you should be... Same video. These are all a person goes to OLM. You should be underground, I figure. Everyone's getting ready for Putin, chalking up NATO. Fight lightning-fast hypersonics. If he's not bluffing, it's got to be timing, with a lot of blank expressions as they watch the plumes grow. Now, Jack, what President Putin has actually said is he's willing to use his own nuclear deterrent to defend his country. If it is attacked in that way, and which is the whole point of having a nuclear deterrent. The media is treating Russia and Vladimir Putin, and they're misrepresenting them grossly, and have been ever since this crisis began. Diego Rivera says, do you think David Jones could infiltrate Area 51? It's worth a try. I could go up there with my sun hat and my sunglasses and say, excuse me, camo dudes, could you let me through, please? Crafty Nihilist laughs. Jack Parker says, Ukraine really needs to reach down for altruism. This is on the same video. It's off topic, but never mind. Down for altruism, at worst, live with a communist regime. President of Ukraine should have taken the ride out of town. His family is safe, but I think if he thinks he can hop in tanks and be on the battlefront, disillusionment, it's the weakest word. How do you know he's not? You know, he's appeared on TV. He could be green screened. I mean, he sits in his tracksuit, and we're told he's staying behind, like the brave warrior that he is. Well, he's got time to get with Boris Johnson tours, hasn't he? They wander around the streets, no flak jacket on, no helmets, only a handful of bodyguards. Lady walks back. It's all a big sham. V. Mccartney says, that is 180 degrees off topic, but the most interesting and sane thing on this entire page, including the video, V. Alright, fair enough. Well, at least there's something you like there, V. I don't agree with your assessment, though, but I think Jack's got it wrong there. Stephen Truthseeker says, Littlewoods and C&A used to do your sizes, not sure even if those shops exist anymore. I don't think they do, you know. Jonathan Carla says, only on Nightline now, it seems. Yeah, I haven't checked. Gary Robinson says, on A Person Goes to OLM, Peter Robbins might have trouble doing these talks, considering his lack of material and the fact he always does the same story in interviews. Wow, that was a bitchy thing of me to say. And V says, I thought so. Was what? V, do you mean it's bitchy of Gary Robinson, or does he agree with Peter Robbins' assessment? Now, Peter is capable of actually producing new material. He just doesn't seem to want to right now. As I said, he seems to be going back over his tracks with Larry Warren and things like that. When all he's doing is he's just repeating the same things over and over again. It's lies. It's not lies that he made up. Someone else made them up. He's repeating them, knowing that they're lies. And as I said, what was the point of him doing his little half-hour tirade at the beginning of the Sunday session? I mean, he didn't say anything to people. No one in that room. I doubt if anyone in that room has not heard everything he said before. Hopefully, they've heard me calling him out on the crappy talks. Oh, we have Outer Limits magazine. Oh, good. They've replied themselves. All right. So the organisers of the conference are here, guys. Pray silence. Peter did not ask and didn't care who was there anyway. Ben was never banned, even from the first event in 2017. Ben thought he'd been, which is why he spouted it all over the net back then, that he was never banned by OLM. He banned himself after asking me to reconsider, which I was doing back in 2017, but I took a little longer than he wanted to respond. Sorry for having to work and look after my disabled wife. And by then he had spread the false belief that he'd been totally banned. Ben sent in a request for a ticket to the 2022 event on the 1st of March. I responded by sending him an invoice which was due to be paid by the 8th of March 2022, to which I have proof on the payment app. He never actively responded to that invoice, I suppose making the grounds for this ridiculously false and very misleading video. He did have permission to attend, despite what he claims in this low-budget thriller. But again, Ben, thank you for the free publicity. You gave everyone there a great laugh at the ineptitude you portrayed with the walking sticks. All right. Well, Chris, what can I say? I actually wrote 3 times to you requesting an invoice, and despite what you said here, your response to my emails was to make me eat your silence. I think it's now time for you to eat a little bit of my silence. Moving swiftly on. Oh, Gary Robinson says here. Actually, Chris is replying to Gary, so I didn't notice it was a thread. Sorry. You know what, Ben? If there wasn't a punch-up or anything, I wonder if Peter Robbins asked them to bar you, because I remember those interviews he did on the Paranormal UK radio, where he was slagging you off, mate. Cheers. No, according to Chris of Outer Limits magazine, he didn't ask that and didn't care who was there. Now, but Peter said some horrible things about me. He said some nasty things about all of us. About Larry and everyone who doesn't join him in condemning Larry. As a result, we've fallen out. Now, but I mean, I think it would be within his nature to do that. Although maybe not. Maybe after all these years he didn't. I don't know. Look, I don't know that. Only he and the management of Outer Limits know that. But it wouldn't surprise me. Here we go. A person goes to OLM. Gary Robbins says, Ben, mate, just so you know, it's actually more fashionable to shop in charity shops than in Primark. Is it? Hey! I'm a cool, trendy dude, man! That's not a joke, by the way. Know some quite wealthy people who are obsessed with shopping only in charity shops for their clothes. It's a new thing. Well, that's good news, isn't it? That's good news. Oh, Emlyn-Jones says here on A Person Goes to OLM. When cowards take the path of least resistance, the truth seeker is obliged to throw on his trickster coat in order that fools may understand the error of their ways. It is a great service that you do then, Ben, though how long it takes them to understand this is another matter. Always remember, you are a light in an often dark world, and you have nothing to apologise for. Another great HPANWO production. Trickster Raven has many forms. Oh, thanks, Helianon. Thank you very much. Stephen Truthseeker says, "Oh, this is very moving, actually." On a person goes to OLM. The angel was probably AM. Oh man. Oh, that Stephen, that is a lovely thing to say. AM, of course, is a friend of ours who worked closely with David Icke, who passed away last year, and I went to her funeral. When was it AM died? It may have been earlier than that. All I do is I went there. I went all the way to Liverpool to her funeral. She's a lovely lady. I did Planet X. She was on Planet X Radio, and I did a show when I was on Planet X Radio with her. And she was a really wonderful person. And Stephen and I were both very fond of her, as was everyone who knew her almost. And Stephen, you never even heard she died, and I'm sorry about that. Someone should have told you. I should have told you. But the funeral was lovely. A lot of her friends turned up there, and when she was taken away in the coffin, and they played out with "Hey Jude," the Beatles song. The angel. I mean, I hesitate to say too much about it. But I will actually come back to this issue because I might do an article about it, because It was rather like the time I saw Sue Stain's father on the train. I was in this half asleep state like that, as I am when I'm in a conference audience, and this young woman with blonde hair, it was like a typical angel kind of face. It's just smiling face came up to me, appeared out of the ether at my left shoulder and put a hand on my arm and smiled. It's like a supportive arm. It didn't look like AM, but angels don't always look like what they're supposed to look like. Like in What Dreams May Come. Of course, if you've seen that film or read the book by Richard Matheson, you'll know that the man who dies and goes to the afterlife, he encounters guides who are not who they appear to be. I don't want to say too much about that, and I didn't say too much about it in The Person Goes to OLM because it's such a big subject and I want to do it credit, but that's a really lovely comment, Stephen, and I thank you for it, and I will return to this issue in the future. Sue Hayward Tonkin says, looks like an exciting adventure, though I do understand the emotions, but kudos for not breaking character. Thanks, Sue. E.T. says, OLM is a blind reptile. Oh, is that Olm? Is that like a creature? Olm. OLM, is it? I'm sure that's just a coincidence. I don't think Chris or anyone else at OLM, I don't think Philip Mantle, I don't think any of these people are actually alien reptiles. I think they are human, believe it or not. Tessa says, oh, that disguise is alligator luscious. I don't know if alligator luscious is good or not. I don't know. Jonathan Carlos, haha, you son of a bitch, you pulled it off. Bet it was quite exciting for you. I think you should do more incognito infiltrations. Who could you disguise yourself as next? RDH, Andrew Johnson, Steve Mumbling? I could do RDH. Yeah, I'd have to put on a little goatee beard and put a headband in my head, in a wig, and say, he's a shill, everyone's a shill. Yeah. Andrew Johnson, I couldn't do Andrew Johnson because I'd end up like, you know. Steve Mumbling, well, I already do Steve Mumbling, don't I? Oh, right. Oh, Victor Nevada's here, the unofficial Alien Interview channel. Now, you mention a few names in your comments, which I won't repeat, but you say, what has this person ever done for ufology? He's a man to whom mediocrity would be a giant leap forward. Well, I don't know him that well, actually, Victor. I don't know him. I know that he's behind the whole OLM conference. All I know is my personal issue with him, which I've already discussed in this video. Actually, he did a speech which I thought was interesting. That's all I can say, really. I've actually never read the magazine. I got one issue. That was the one with the Larry Warren thing, because I did a review of it, in which there was an attempt to discredit Larry Warren, which I think they failed to do. I must say, to be fair, Chris did offer the chance for the other side of the story to be told, and it never came about due to reasons to do with the witness himself. But I mean, maybe that was a mistake. I don't know. Anyway, into the triangle. Snarnock says, I'm looking forward to a follow-up trip in which you go out to stack rocks to investigate, possibly with Matthew Williams in his boat, as well as trying lava bread. Oh, right. Yeah, well, the lava bread thing is a Welsh thing. But that would be quite something, wouldn't it? Yeah. And, of course, it's an obvious next step. I mean, we'd have to do it properly, take safety precautions, wear life jackets, things like that. A person goes to OLM, Snarlock. I was surprised to hear you drank Diet Coke. I assume you're not bothered by its vile aftertaste and the company in which aspartame comes from. I always get a weird headache whenever I accidentally consumed aspartame in the past. I knew what it was, and Marky Boy says Diet Pepsi is the answer, if not Fat Coke. PHAT. Snarnock, I don't make a habit of drinking aspartame, and I know aspartame's bad for you. At the same time, regular Coke gives me a horrible greasy feeling in my mouth, probably caused by the sugar. Now, I know what's aspartame is bad, and I would not drink it regularly. However, there is so much in this world to worry about. I've actually made a decision. I'm going to just go. I'll go up to this level, but no higher. I'll go that high and no further, because otherwise I'll just drive myself mad. I'll drive myself mad. You know, I'll end up like with orthorexia, as it's called, where you just basically sit in your room and you eat. You have to distill every piece of water you drink. You got to grow your own food and stuff like this. And I can't live like that. I can't live with all that concern. I have to, at some point, I have to roll the dice. I mean, I drank Diet Coke basically because it comes in the biggest glass and it's fluid. Because I was actually dehydrated at that point. So that's why. I was very uncomfortable in my disguise. I was sweating profusely. The mask was affecting my breathing. It's something I probably... It's not something I'm going to make a habit of. A person goes to LLM. Steve Mumbling says, pay money to listen to the Kinsellas. Jeez, welcome to Fantasy Island. Well, Steve, you weren't there. You didn't get a ticket, so what are you complaining about? You could have come if you wanted to. Get on a plane, come over from Australia. But you didn't. I think Philip and Ronnie are very interesting. That's it. I mean, I didn't see their speech because I've seen it before. A person goes to Steve Mumbling. Here we go. Now I want to say a bit more about this because here we go. Oh, that's another one done. I'm just saying that is my that is I was just checking that that's actually working. Yeah. All right. I'm just basically this is what you just heard. Sorry, I've got to interrupt now. What you just heard is basically I'm using a software to convert the file into something smaller, to convert the large recording file that comes from OBS into something smaller and more manageable. Okay, Steve Mumbling, have you and Charles fallen out, Ben? Have you and Charles fallen out, Ben? No. But BZ Garson says here, seems all comments posted in the previous video by Charles have been deleted. Steve Mumbling says that's what happens when someone gets blocked by the channel owner. All their posts disappear. All right. Charles from Project Camelot, his channel has disappeared. He's taken it down. I've not blocked him. No. BZ Garson says underneath, thanks, but Charles's comments have also disappeared from another YouTube channel he made a guest appearance on. His YouTube channel seems to have gone AWOL as well. Steve Mumbling says, sounds like he's had enough of the drivel and pulled the plug. What was that Terry channel he was on with Ben? Alright, that was not my rabbit hole with Terry Joyce. Charles has gone. Now, I've spoken to a mutual friend of Charles's, and apparently he's got personal issues in his life right now. This is what I heard. This is not from Charles himself. This is from someone for whom we both know. He's basically removed himself from the online world. He sent me an email actually saying goodbye from Charles, and it was just the subject line. The email was blank. I tried to reply and the email bounced, so he's deleted his email as well. This is because of personal issues in his own life. It's a shame, and I'm sorry he's gone. I hope he'll come back one day. And of course, Charles, if you're watching, I wish you all the best, whatever it is, and I don't know what it is. I wish you all the best with it, and I'll send you healing thoughts, and I hope to see you again sometime. I really do. Alright, a person goes to OLM. Props. Oh, Revisited says, props for making such an effort to be there, Ben. Just to confirm, Capel Green has expanded into something much bigger than was anticipated at the outset. Lots of new evidence and events during filming are the reason for the delay. I will just say it's close. Thanks, Revisited. I've actually been talking to some people on the production team, and that's been confirmed. I appreciate you helping me confirm that, because people at the conference were just saying, well, it's been cancelled because it's because Larry Warren turned out to be a liar after all, and they all know it, but that's not true. And those people are going to have to eat their words pretty soon. Marky Boy said in reply, I'm bored of even hearing about that film now. There was even less with it than is going on down at Rendlesham, i.e. bugger all. I noticed a while back they have taken the old UFO trail indicators away and made new ones almost unnoticeable. Not much happening around there. Convid killed any meetups for the 50th anniversary. A mate and I went down there, but it was deserted that night. Shame, really. Marky, yeah, I've actually not been down there since the last time I filmed there, basically, with Derek Savory and the others. I didn't realise they'd taken the old UFO trail indicators away. I'll have to go back there and confirm it. That's a great shame if that's happened. But Marky, you may be bored of hearing about the film, but do watch it. Do watch it when it comes out. Marky Boy says, and a person goes to OLM. Well done on using one of my favourite words, furtive, and I also like the word fuckery. There's a lot about... I don't think I said fuckery, did I? There's a lot of that about these days. Undercover reporting, eh? You are a master of disguise in a Clouseau-type way. Yes, I am indeed. Respect authority. Excuse me. Oh, pardon me. I'm having a giggle, but you pulled it off. I'm having a giggle, but you pulled it off. Well done. As for the green light photo that has surfaced from the Rendlesham, who knows? Oh, yeah. I mean, I've not actually heard about this before. I heard Chris talking about it, and he explained how it could have been fate. He also explained that this policeman, I mean, it seems he found out that there were only 2 policemen in the entire area on duty that night, and this guy couldn't have been one of them. He also said, well, what about the camera? It was a Polaroid camera, which don't work very well in cold weather. Well, that's a reason to be suspicious, isn't it? You know, it didn't. Marky carries on. It didn't look much to me, as it's been so long. The waters are well muddied now. I did meet Larry many years ago around the millennium, and he did come across as sincere about what happened there. However, I was disappointed when I read Left at Eastgate, and he has certainly got a sketchy instant past there since then, but he is a bit of a lad, and I like the character trait, so I'm open-minded as to his involvement after speaking to him. The Left at Eastgate, actually, I liked Left at Eastgate. Now, it's out of print now. Contrary to popular belief, both authors requested it be removed from print. There will hopefully be a new book one day, which will be Larry will produce independently. I don't know exactly if there are any formal plans for that, but if there is, he has mentioned it a few times publicly. So we'll hopefully find out. Larry's the first to admit he's had his personal problems and things like that, but it's good you're open-minded anyway. I've looked into this. I mean, I've looked into all the research done about him. I think he's telling the truth about his experience in Rendlesham. The people who his detractors have never come up with proper evidence against him, and indeed there's been deliberate distortion by various people, sometimes for political reasons, sometimes because of a personal dislike of Larry. The most recent incarnation or revival of this controversy has been a result simply of a personal dispute. But based on what I've looked into, I think he is telling the truth about this. Marky goes on. Since then, I've also met John Burroughs and Charles Holt, and they both seem genuine as well. I do feel Holt is holding something back, but he needs his military pension, so I understand his position, and think he's saying the most he can. Interestingly or not, back at the time it happened, my long-departed grandma said she was woken one night by the light of a low-flying airliner shining into her bedroom. She lived in Ipswich at the time of the Rendlesham Forest incident. She said the airliner was so low she could see people in its windows. That makes no sense, as it would have been too loud and too low. Obviously, with her being long gone, I can add no more, but it does leave a lot of questions. Did she witness something connected to the incident around that time? Who knows? That's interesting. A low-flying air, she could see people in its windows. Yeah, but anything, as you said, anything flying that low, a conventional jet aircraft would have been very noisy at that altitude to have been able to see people in the windows. I don't know, mate. It's sad she's passed away. I don't know if she left any records or told anyone else. Let us know. Lisa Cry Freedom. Says here, on a person goes to LM. Haha, like what you did, Mr. HPANWO. Personally, I could not have spent the whole weekend alone with a muzzle on, but hats off to you. No, you'd better leave it on. To you, Ben. Sorry, David, lol. This is part of a thread. No. Sorry, David. Yeah, Ben. Sorry, David. Yeah. Thanks, Lisa. I know we had a discussion about this in the chat box last night on the HPANWO show. I'm still not sure about what all my motivations were. I mean, I know I feel a lot better for having done this, but honestly, I will not make a habit of wearing a coof muzzle. I assure you that. I mean, as I said in the video, the moment I got back in, the moment I got back out of Hull, all the masks went into the bin. Lisa says here, I don't know exactly what happened re the original banning incident, Ben, but your feelings will no doubt be because you feel it's unfair. Yeah, that's it, Lisa. when we are usually viewed as a decent and respectful and respected person, and we are suddenly made out not to be, when we know we have only done things from the heart and truth, then it hurts, and I know this as much as anyone. And if it didn't hurt, there would be something wrong with you, in my view. That's kind of, well said, Lisa. That's kind of how I feel. Well, this has happened to me many times before. I mean, in the hospital, for example, I was often blamed for things I hadn't done. I was often lied about, treated. I mean, most recently, of course, the last time was when I actually got kicked out, and that, yeah. Lisa carries on here on another comment on the same video. Without knowing exactly what happened, I think you're right, Ben. Essentially, they ignored your letters, which was rude, yes. This comes down to one thing, all sides being mature about it. And you proved a point, Ben, and that is one that much needed it in these times and gave us all we needed. Much needed giggle, thank you. Yeah. Well, I mean, as I said, I think I wanted this to be an entertaining thing. I didn't want to be. I don't believe I was. I describe it as retaliation, but retaliation is usually when you do something aggressive or violent or horrible towards somebody, and I didn't. I mean, despite what people are claiming, and I know a lot of my enemies are actually claiming this, and I predicted they would claim this. Nobody knew I was there. No one found out about me. I don't think anyone really was even suspicious of who I was. They saw me and they just shrugged and didn't think any more about it. Now it turns out there were two guys apparently who sort of suspected I was someone in hiding. Now this is funny, right? These are two of the delegates. Now they were not part of management. In fact, they're very much on my side when it comes to the conflict I have with OLM management. But they were watching me the whole time, and they actually followed me when I left the venue on Saturday. And I know they followed me because they said we went into a shop, and they told me about it, which means they must have known where I was going. This is one of the reasons. Now I didn't spot them, so it must have been good surveillance on their part. However, I stayed in character. One of the reasons I stayed in character when I was outside my hotel room was because of this very thing. So they didn't know who I was. They did suspect me. They actually said to themselves at that time they thought they knew who I was, because I'm not the only one banned. There's another guy who's banned too, and they thought I was that guy. And we had a good laugh about it when they found out. So they're good. They're not. Then say they're on my side in this. I like them. I think they're cool. But it's a good job I did stay in character just for that reason, yeah. A person goes to OLM. Caroline McGreal says, "Thanks for sharing, Ben. I believe in forgiving my enemies, which brings me healing. Ephesians 4:32. And be kind to one another, tender-hearted, forgiving one another, even as God, for Christ's sake, hath forgiven you." Caroline, I do. I think I have. I don't feel resentful towards the OLM people as much as I did. I feel better for having done this. I really do. I think it's helped me with these feelings. It does. It's helped me feel. I mean, it's helped. It's lifted some of the resentment I felt of being banned in 2017. And Val McCrinnon says. So V McCrinnon says underneath, "Very sweet sentiment, miss. Bless your heart." Oh, that's nice, Val. V. So I think I agree with what you said, and I think holding on to we can't help hating, and but there are people I hate, really hate badly in this world because they've done me far more harm than just banning me from a conference. But if you can at least integrate that hatred, it's very helpful. And if possible, if it's something less serious and it's not really very bad, if you can let it go and find a way to let it go and find a way to get over it, that's a good thing. And I think this is the reason I did what I did, to help me get over it. Into the Triangle, Steve071. "I'm with you on the Mandela effect, remembering rum with an H, Ben. Good catch. I've just googled it, Ben, and they have it spelt as rum on there, so you might have an affected atlas." Oh no, Lisa actually explained what it was, Steve. It was at one point they just said the guy didn't want to be known as the Laird of Rum because people might think he was a boozer. BZ Garson, a person goes to OLM. BZ Garson says, childish and pathetic. I know you are, BZ. Marky Boy says the reply is blanked out by YouTube. Just saying. All right. Well, it's there now. Oh, is there a reply blanked out? I don't know. But anyway, I've replied there. A person goes to OLM says, and we have Jeff Sperry saying, it did give me a chuckle when I saw your disguise, Ben. Great undercover operation, by the way, and I think you did the right thing in attending the conference, as they banned you for no good reason, as you explain. As you said, mission accomplished. Thanks, Jeff. Steve071 says on OLM, yeah, Monkey Ben Davy Jones. You Monkey Ben Davy Jones. My brother Chris and I were there on Saturday, and I pointed you out to him. Were you, Steve? Oh, man. You know, come to another conference, come to Probe. You know, I'll be myself at Probe. You'll know me straight away. But he said, I pointed you out to him as you were wearing a mask, and I was thinking why some folks still bothered to do so. I saw one other old lady wearing one there also, but never suspected it could be you. We were sat on the left side, back row seats next to Chris Turner, who we had a couple of good conversations with during the breaks. I'm sure you were standing behind us near Paul Sinclair's table while we were chatting. There were various audio problems on the day, and Peter Robbins was inaudible during his talk. Did you sign the card that was sent round for the audience for Peter Robbins? Oh, right. Steve, I know, obviously, even if I'd known you were there, and I don't know what you look like, but I wouldn't have been able to speak to you, unfortunately. In fact, I saw a lot of people there I know and couldn't speak to. Jason Gleaves, I saw Chris Turner there. I saw Lorraine, the Marshall V and Summers stall lady. I know these people. I normally have conversations with them, and I couldn't. But do come along to other events. Come along to Probe. Come along to the Basis Project Conference. I remember the audio problems. Yeah, Chris actually said that they're not going to use that venue again for that reason. I didn't sign the card. No, I mean, if it had been sent round, I'd have signed it David Jones. But I never actually was given the card. Darren Retro, person goes to OLM. Oh, did you fart at 1:11:46? Oh, let's have a look, shall we? Let's have a listen. I've got a timestamp here. No, that's a car horn, I think. Right, we have here Sadhu Sam, Ben playing a role. How novel. Well, normally I'm no Sadhu. Normally I'm myself, and I am just simply myself. But this was one of the very few occasions, apart from when I'm also But You Do Nothing, or one of my comedy characters, where I play a role. This is the only time I've ever played a role and pretended to be someone I'm not. A person goes to OLM, Bernie Tucker. A great video, Ben. Really enjoyed it. Keep up the good work. Thanks. Oh, you're welcome, Bernie. I'm glad you did. And Sonara Ashtree said, where would we be without wonderful eccentrics like you, Ben? Marvellous. And I put in a text comment to Sonara because I know her. And oh, York. Right, new video now. York. E.T. says, York is lovely. Another beautiful ancient Roman city worth visiting is Chester. Maybe I'll check out the Illuminati stuff in Chester, E.T. York, Hugo, Rune. Oh, me first. Enjoying York from... Oh, E.T. gets the kiss. Mwah. Sorry, Hugo. You weren't quite quick enough. Enjoying York from your point of view. Been there long, long ago. All right. Steve071 says, don't beat yourself up over feeling like couldn't let people know or being unable to chat with friends at the conference. You should have been able to walk in and watch like everyone else. Thanks, Steve. And O.P. Evers says he could have done just that. Alright, is O.P. Evers related to Chris Evers? It's his brother, I don't know. Alright, Steve071 says, good, hopefully this does not have to affect future conferences. Oh, I hope not. I mean, I don't know if I'd be allowed to go back there after this. But, you know, if it's interesting speakers, I don't know. I mean, I think I've been now. I've done what I needed to do, which is go to one of the conferences and prove that I can go there and not cause trouble. I didn't cause trouble. Lemsip says on York, I used to live a few miles from there for 2 years. So the last comment, by the way, was on a person goes to OLM. 6 miles away as the crow flies for 7.5 miles by road. York is quite a small city, as 2 miles from the city centre is countryside. Oh, but smaller cities are nicer, you know, Lemsip. Oxford is a small city too. They're much nicer, fresh air, more greenery, yeah. But it's a lovely location, lovely area. Steve071 says, I do like a trip to York, mainly to the races. It's a lovely place. Yeah. Of course, the famous racetrack. York. Diego Rivera says, are you the Alan Partridge of the UFO world, Ben? Yes, the formal acknowledgement that we are not alone and there is an ET civilization invading the human race. Aha! Hugo Rune says on York, just as you cannot go back in time, there are no other dimensions. Sorry, Ben. All right, Hugo, that's I know your cosmology, which you've described at certain points, which I can never maintain all this information in my head, but thanks very much there. Jack Parker says on York, speaking of adventure, remember the only way to get to the subway tunnels in time when you hear the air raid sirens is with a bike, preferably on an electric dirt bike that does 50 miles an hour. All right. I never tried that, you know. I've never had to hear an air raid siren, luckily. Jack also says here on York, safety electricity, just pedal it unless you have to really boogie. If you have to really boogie, right, okay. Now we have Lisa Cry Freedom. Lisa says, been and stayed in York quite a few times. Fab place. Used to be loads of red squirrels in the park. Very fond memories of York Museum, and so nice to hear Lily on this. Thanks, Lisa. Lily Go Lightly says, oh, thanks, lovely Lisa. It was a pleasure to give Ben... Oh, right, this is Lily. Give Ben a lightning tour of the city and introduce him to the joys of the fat rascal too. Oh, right. Lily, I didn't know you had a channel. Oh, it's a blank one. I think she just set it up to comment. But Lily, I'll sub to you. I'll sub to you because you'll probably put things on there. Oh, yeah, there you go. You've got 5 subs already. That's cool. Lemsip says here, I last visited York in the 80s and we went to York Minster and loved it. I was staying in Harrogate for a conference in the noughts, in the zeros and the 2000s, and we had to change trains at Leeds, where one of our party had a panic attack, so we missed the next train to Harrogate and had to wait another hour for one. Oh dear. Oh dear, that's bad. A panic attack in York, in Leeds. Oh, Leeds is very much scarier than York or Harrogate. It bloody is, isn't it? Yeah. I passed through there on the way to Newcastle and back twice. Really rough. Women get on the train at Birmingham to travel back to Leeds and get on at Leeds to travel to Newcastle, the most frightening place in the UK. York and Harrogate had tea rooms that I bet Leeds doesn't. Oh, Leeds is like a big urban sprawl, you know, whereas York is like a lovely classic smaller place. Ian Gosling says on York, I don't loathe Christianity. It's all there is between us and Lucifer's earthly throne. Global brackets, global governments close brackets. No matter what the New Age pagans say. I mean, I think you're probably therefore a cultural Christian, Ian, like Douglas Murray. He used to be an actual Christian, but he lost his faith. But he's now a cultural Christian. Lisa says York is so similar to Chester, which I know so much better. I'll have to go to Chester because everyone's talking about Chester now, aren't they? York said, shambles, origin from the German for stool or bench, probably an early market with benches for selling products. Good video, ain't been to York for years. Thanks, Tim, thanks for the information. And Lily says here, it was a former butcher street and meat market, and also an abattoir where the deep cobbled guttering would have run red with blood. Even today you can still see some of the original butcher's hooks above the little shops. Yeah, they've kept them there for old time's sake. And I noticed the deep gutter. And to me, that's kind of a bit more honest. You know, not pretending it's something it's not. They're saying, we're killing animals here. You know, this is the place where we do our killing for the purposes of meat. Right, and these days we buy it. We buy meat in plastic packaging in the supermarket. And it's like with all our food, we are detached from the method of its production because farming is now separate from the rest of society. So that's interesting, isn't it? Yeah. Okay. York says here. Oh, York. Sorry, York doesn't say this. It's on York, and Stephen Truthseeker says here, when I was homeless next to Exeter Cathedral, I worked out the cathedral was protected by ancient tree spirits, and it wasn't me just making things up, because as soon as I came to this conclusion, within the same second I got a flash in the sky or something. Animal Auntie Bev says, I sense that you were also correct about AM yesterday, Stephen. Yeah. Lily Golightly says, very interesting idea, and you could be right. The minster was built in the early 1200s, but before that it was the site of a Roman governmental building. Prior to that, it was the site of a well-used pagan temple before the swamp that is York was drained. It may be a sacred spring bubbling up from there, or more likely a sacred grove of trees complete with their dryad guardians. Sadly, these trees have been cut down long ago in the midst of time, but the elemental aspects may have survived. Who knows? Could be, Lily. I mean, that I think that's the case with Glastonbury, with the oak. There used to be an oak avenue which the Druids put up there sometime in the first millennium BC. It's all gone except two of the oaks, and they're called the two old oaks. And there's a campsite called the Old Oaks where I stayed, which is where they are. And people still put like prayer ribbons and things on them. Stephen says to Lily, cathedral deans, etc. could well be and double up as druids as well. Seems to be a fusion of pagan and Christian religious stuff. The ancient druids were tree worshipping people, so it's probably a bastardized version of that. And also says, I used to see a guy doing energy work every morning around 6 a.m. outside Exeter Cathedral. Lily says to Stephen, interesting stuff, isn't it? We know the church, as it currently manifests its doctrines in a sort of amalgam of ancient religions like Mithraism and sun cults, including, of course, paganism, whatever definition you put on that, and it's a wide one. From my understanding of the Druids, they were less worshippers of trees and more focused on the elementals, the spirits of fire, water, etc., which would include the elemental forces of the wood within trees, to which the Druid world was personified as a dryad wood spirit, fairy, or nymph, perhaps. And wonder what your Exeter mate was up to. Yeah, I think this can be found in ancient Greek myth as well. The dryads were the tree spirits in the ancient Greek world, and the Romans sort of the Romans kind of like they perverted a lot of this ancient Greek stuff. A lot of people said that the Roman Empire was kind of a bastardized version of ancient Greece. Stephen says to Lily, I believe the bloke in Exeter was working for the Illuminati. I was shouting over saying it was an important place for them around August time. Seen hundreds of Freemasons turn up with occult esoteric banners with symbols, stars, pentacles, all-seeing eyes, and the scouts turned up there with their fleur-de-lis. You know, that's weird. That's interesting, Stephen, considering the stories that Lily and I heard about weird things going on in the crypt. Stephen also says in York, probably all cathedrals have a facade front. It's symbolic for their fake religion. Well, we know for a fact that its purpose has been reappropriated many times. I mean, even during long after it was built, during the Reformation, for example. I mean, churches all over the country changed at the Reformation. A lot of the statues and things were taken out. The Stations of the Cross were ripped out. In fact, we saw in the church that some of the saints had been removed from the alcoves. Lily and I showed you these things. Yeah. Stephen said there were strange sounds when you showed the hell image. Oh God, that's spooky. That's a bit like The Exorcist. But that's a horrible thing. That's the Doomstone thing. That wasn't that creepy, wasn't it? Hopefully, we'll tell you more about that soon. Animal Auntie Bev said, York is a lovely place. Is on York. York is a lovely place. Some years ago, I used to have a market stall there. Rather sad to see it quiet these days. The place used to be heaving with people. The Evil Eye used to be a well-known absinthe bar. Oh, was it? Oh, God, no wonder it had that name. The rest of what I want to say keeps being censored. Oh, no, I am not. Oh, not you as well, Animal Auntie Bev. Oh, dear. Tricky Who says to Bev, use ho-ho codes and something, etc. Even use a zero for O. It works every. Or use a $sign for S. Yeah. Lily says, "Oh yes, remembering the wormwood with fondness." And Bev says, "Thank you to to Tricky. That's interesting, Tricky. Thanks for the information. Thanks for the advice, actually, Tricky. Much appreciated. Right, we're going back to the Day the Earth Stood Still watch party review. Steve071 says, one of the better 50s films from the ufological genre. There's a definite Christ-type association given to Klaatu by the writers with naming him Carpenter, and with his resurrection from the dead. Well, yes, well spotted. I never got that one, Steve. And I guess Klaatu had the right to get the hump with the planet after being shot and killed within a few days of landing there. Yeah, within a few minutes of landing there. Yeah. York, Snarnock. Did you visit any second-hand bookshops when you were there? No, Snarnock, I didn't have time, unfortunately. Weird Weekend North 2022, part 1 of 2. John Smith says, the irony of lumping all groups classed as minorities into one... it's the end of hour number 3. This is going to be a long one, guys. There we go. Right. Okay, I will be back shortly. Right. Okay. Okay, guys, I'm back. As I was saying to John Smith, he talking about lumping minorities into one buzzword. This was on the Weird Weekend North, part 1 of 2. The people of colour, as if white isn't a colour. Yeah, good point, huh? Yeah. Are not the minority at all on this planet and never have been. It's the non-coloured who are the minority if we're talking about the biological absurdity of race and the nominal differences that affect ostensible features, skin tone, etc. Not to mention that it's equally absurd to lump people together simply because of their sexual preference and predilection, as if they are all the same, like lumping all the beast people together under some social movement just because they're fat, as if they're all fat only from eating junk food. Well, yeah, I mean, there was... in fact, Douglas Murray made this point when he did an interview with Sam Harris, and he said, it's like, I hope to walk into a bookshop one day and see there'll be a section for ginger-haired writers and things like this. The reason you have these lumps of minorities is because of what I said about breeding a sense of victimhood and resentment among people, which is why they don't allow white people and men and heterosexuals to have the same thing. Although a lot of us do. I mean, I certainly do. But it's frowned upon for white people and men and heterosexuals to do that. The reason is because they want this victimhood mentality serves a purpose. It's cultural Marxism, and I've talked about that on lots of other videos. It serves a purpose for the New World Order. It's not because they don't prefer certain groups of people as apart from others. It's all a strategy. It's all a big strategy. I think the bad guys, the Illuminati, they see us all as just another species of farm animal. This is just like a cattle prod. This is like barbed wire fencing. That's all it is. Rod says on York, come to our home turf, Winchester, the ancient capital before London. All right, some lovely walks around and near the cathedral, including the Pilgrim's Walk and Wolvesey Castle, the old Bishop's Palace ruins. Lots of interesting stuff. The Wayfarers Walk by the River Itchen. I know that I think it was actually sadly Max Spears. Before he died, he did a video in Winchester where he lived there actually, and he and Sarah did some filming around Winchester Cathedral. You know, that song, Winchester Cathedral, you're breaking me down. What's that? That was the New Vaudeville Band or something. I can't remember. My mum used to love that song. Lemsip. I went to Winchester once for a weekend for a conference and stayed at the YHA Hotel. It was very strange as some street festivals going on at the same time. And this is all on York, by the way. And we noticed how rowdy some of the revellers were. They were mostly from London and Berkshire, which was the upper crust version of chavs. Rod says to Lemsip, I have lived, hi Lemsip, I've lived in and around Winchester for 66 years, and you're missing the best bits, I promise you. I have so much admiration for Ben, and any time he wants to visit, I'll pick him up and escort him around Winchester. He has tremendous personality, and it would be an honour. Such an intelligent and unbiased guy. I don't think he'd be impressed by the likes of me, though. Oh, Rod, that's a lovely thing to say. Thank you. I'll have to do that. I'll have to take you up on your offer sometime. I will. Maybe you could be like Lily, in York. Thank you. Lemsip says to Rod, I wasn't there long enough to see many of the good bits. I did go near Winchester School and a labyrinth just outside the city on an early morning walk. I didn't have time to enjoy the street festival either. Okay. York, Tessa, are you sure Shambles isn't Diagon Alley? Oh, it does look a bit like that. This thing from Harry Potter, yeah. It does look a bit like that. It may be modelled on that. It may even been filmed there. I don't know. Tessa says, all 3 Crane Lane needs is a bubblegum wall. Oh, Tessa, is that another Harry Potter reference? I'm not a big Harry Potter fan, but yeah. Lily says here, it kind of is now, Tessa, because it's got a large Harry Potter shop selling all the merch. I noticed that, Lily. Yeah, I saw it. I don't know if I filmed it. I can't remember if it's in the video, which is very popular with tourists. Ben filmed a little of the shop. Oh, I did I really? All right. Whilst he was walking around the Shambles. Did you catch that? Oh, right. I must have done. Right. But I remember the shop very well. Yeah, York. Be the Truth said. I was thinking of that, Ben. There's a lot of Tataria there, and that is an amazing quality of structure and presence. Oh, the Tatarian thing. Yeah, that's very interesting. The whole Tataria Theory. The idea that basically there's a whole cover-up of history except for the last few years. I mean, despite as crazy as that sounds, I watched this long video about it, and the evidence is there. It's really remarkable. It needs answering. I know it's very popular with the flat Earth people. They're the primary believers in this, but you don't have to be a flat earther to take this seriously. And they say things about like the Crystal Palace and San Francisco and stuff. Very interesting. Be the Truth goes on. Your events and tours, I feel blessed you take us along. Very enjoyable. Oh, thank you. Thanks also, and bless lovely Lily. I agree and get so much of what she speaks of. That's on or of. That is me. I speak no high weather. Small talk shite. Haha. So point noted, don't wear any kilts nor take any bagpipes around them parts. Yeah, especially when you're walking outside the battlements at the wall. Yeah. Be the Truth says, at the end structure, it's beyond impeccable. It's beautiful. I mean, the rose window and that, it is beautiful stuff, isn't it? Stephen says, oh, the gematria. Yeah, I mean, this is, how could a society that burned witches possibly create something like a cathedral? Why is this never asked by researchers? Very few researchers asked this. Be the Truth said, frequency and healing chamber. When original and not hijacked. It may well have been originally Be the Truth, yeah. Lily says here, there are still good frequencies running through the Minster on the east-west axis of the York line that runs directly through the spot I took Ben to. Yeah, that's on the, which we filmed, which he describes as tingly. It was tingly, yeah. But as you rightly say, the hijacking is also prevalent with some pretty dark energies above and below the high altar. We did wonder if the presence of the Doomstone in some way contributes to that, yeah. I thought that, Lily. Yeah, I mean, we this is one of the things we've been looking into. Yeah. Nothing, as it seems, says. I reckon you were pleasantly on York. I reckon you were pleasantly subscribed by Miss Dahlia. Who's Miss Dahlia? Oh, you meaning Lily? Oh, right, Dahlia. Yes. Lily says, might that be a reference to the fact I'm more Peace Lily than Black Dahlia? Oh. Stephen says, when a person goes to OLM. Some of us did stare Ben. Oh, Stephen Freestone says here. Some of us did stare Ben. I thought it was Stephen Truthseeker, sorry. But very subtly. But then that's because we thought you were someone else. Yeah, I know. That's hilarious. At least Legend Real says on York. That's 2 days to go. My goodness me. I'm still on just 2 comments posted 2 days ago. So. This is going to be a long video, yeah. 8:20, Maniac. Never mind. You're spot on, Ben. The Ukrainian flag is everywhere in Glasgow. The analogy of the new rainbow flag is a great twinning for the like-minded zombies. Yes. Great walk around York. Very interesting. Thanks, Legend Real. Lemsip says, and also in Cardiff, there's one outside the county Conservative Club in the nearest main road to where I live. It was situated there as the ward was once a safe Conservative ward, then became a marginal ward. There's also a pride flag with a trans triangle painted on pedestrian crossings in Cardiff. Oh, blimey. Oh, yeah, that's everywhere, isn't it? Yeah. York said, why do you think your lizard is dead? You told us she's only middle-aged for her species. Well, it could be the wages of being part of the Illuminati. Maybe they suck the life out of you, Steve. We're talking about the Queen, of course. Oh, Outer Limits magazine again. Oh, right, here we go. As I said, Chris, I'm not going to reply to you here. But yeah, people can read it for themselves if they want. Charles Scott says here, sadly Ben has gone down in my estimation after repeatedly lying to me and being disrespectful to me in several ways. Is that right, Charles? Proof of this can be found in my comments in Ben's reply to comments 48, reply to comments 49, UFO disclosure 2021. It could happen at any time, and reply to comments 50 part 2. Goodness me, Charles, you've kept a list, haven't you? I'm on your blacklist, isn't it? I've screenshotted all the comments in case they get deleted. Charles, I'm not going to delete your comments. Shut up. It'll be interesting to see if Ben replies to your comment as if it's a rebuttal. Perhaps you can post a link or screenshot photo proving what you say is true. You will have to describe hyperlink as YT normally blocks hyperlinks other than YouTube hyperlinks. I'm not saying you are lying, and you don't need to prove anything, as Ben may concede and admit what you say is true. Even if you can't prove that, it doesn't mean you are a liar. Oh, well, I honestly don't care, Charles. I mean, I would not. If I'm proved wrong on anything, I'll immediately admit it. But I'm not really bothered. I think I've done what I needed to do. I did no harm, but I took no shit, as they say. Charles has just repeated the same question here on another comment. All right, well, firstly, Charles, I don't think I've been disrespectful to you. I don't recall your name as someone I was disrespectful. Oh, you were the one. Oh, yeah, you were the one who talked about Roswell and stuff. Look, I actually thought your contribution was quite good. I disagreed with you on something. I wasn't disrespectful to you. It could be that I was snappy with you when you were snappy with me. I don't know. I don't initiate bad behaviour, though. And he's done a short version of this now. Oh dear. Alright, Charles, I'm going to leave that there. That's you replying to Outer Limits Mag there. York. More of these, Ben. Great vid and blog. Mark, I'll be doing another one very soon. I've already got plans. It's actually, I'm going to tell you now, it's the weekend after next. Weekend after this one, I'm going to probe. The new probe, yes. And Outer Limits magazine has repeated the same thing it said before. Thank you for the free publicity. Oh, well, you may get... I'll tell you what, Chris, you know what's going to happen next year? You're going to get a whole load of people going along dressed in sun hats and sunglasses and masks, and they're going to carry placards saying, we're Ben's fans, and you're going to get like 20 people walking into your auditorium dressed like that. It's going to become a tradition. Oh, we've done it now, haven't we? Oh, I've done it now, yeah. I say we've done it now. Charles Scott says, I've created 3 YouTube accounts, 2 account messages, and I've been spammed by someone, one of which can only be seen when I'm signed in, while the other has been deleted. The last account, a condensed message, has gone through to you and can be read even when signed out. All right, Charles, a lot of people are complaining. This is YouTube doing this. You tend to post a lot of very heavy stuff. You know what the problem is? All right, I remember what the problem is now. It's to do with Charles from Project Camelot, I think. Was it him? But you got into an argument with him, or you got into an argument with someone, and I wouldn't ban the other person or something, and you didn't like it. Right, here we have Alzheimer's Magazine says, suspicious look. We have images of you taken from the front of the hall, sat there watching. We knew it was you, LMAO. All right. Well, I didn't know. I was looking around, didn't notice anyone doing that. And Victor said, the unofficial alien UFO the unofficial alien interview channel says, that's why it took you 4 days to start talking about it. Massive self-coverage right there, lol. Well, yeah, I had actually someone. Funny enough, Andrew, I was in touch with someone. Someone else. There was one other person who knew I was in that room, and they were watching social media very carefully to see if I'd been rumbled. I did say, just if you see anyone posting about me, let me know, because I'd like to know if I'd been rumbled. No one did. No one did at the time. But OP Evers says no one started talking about it because no one was bothered. Just like no one mentioned you on the day either. Oh dearie me. Oh dearie me. We have like a battle has now broken out between Andrew and Chris. Okay. Andrew says, I can't thank you enough because I would hate to have my name mentioned alongside the likes of Sasha Christie, the Kinsella twins, Peter Robbins, etc. I'm on my own path and doing rather well, thank you. Sasha Christie and Davy Jones once called me a nobody on their lame radio show. I recorded Skype calls. Well, here I am 3 years later and having my research featured on shows such as the Jeff Friends programme and John B. Wells' Caravan to Midnight, with a possible TV series in the book and pipeline. So stuff and more. Andrew, as you know, I'm on your side with this issue to do with the alien. I agree. I think it's real, and I'm pleased you are. I am pleased you're moving forward with books and movies and things like that. And you've been in, and things like that, on the research you've been featured. I know you don't do interviews, but you do recordings and things like that, and you publish all your stuff, which other people do put onto their shows. And I just think, if you want my advice, mate, these names you mentioned, which you don't get on with, it's best just put them aside and move on. Do your own thing. Don't get into arguments with them. It's not worth it. You can't win an argument with these people. They don't fight fair. Just move on, do your own thing. And OP Evers says, I'm glad you're doing well. Really, the more I look into the subject, the more that look into the subject, the better. I'm sure you're intelligent enough to understand my point in the other comment. Any bad feelings you may be carrying about things I've said in the past are yours to hold and move on for, and it's your choice to allow them to cloud your judgment on this video or not. And he carries on claiming what he just claimed. Into anyone that questions claimed fact is doing the right thing. It may be UAP or someone claiming they're not welcome at an event. Okay, and Outer Limits magazine said to Andrew, some of us have more important things to worry about. Okay. All right, I have a troll here. I will delete this after. I'm not going to delete this now, but I know who it is. And I'll delete that afterwards. Jake Yorkman, named after the city. Wish I knew you were in York, mate. I'd have bought us you a pint. Oh, Jake, thanks, mate. I didn't have time, unfortunately, to stop and meet people. I'm sorry about that. Maybe if I go back there again, we'll have like a meet-up or something. That'd be nice. And we have here. All right, this I think is. Oh, this is someone who doesn't like what I did. Okay, yeah. This is Deborah Singleton on A Person Goes to OLM. What an idiot, and who do you think you are? Clearly not someone trustworthy. And the sunglasses Peter Robbins discussed were supposed to be prescription, but turned out to be plain glass. Get the facts included if you're going to slag at someone off. Well, I mean, Deborah, I was unable to take notes, all right, because if I'd done that, it would have drawn too much attention to myself. I had to remember what he said. I mean, it's interesting, though, that I don't think Peter's mentioned this before. It was the only original thing he said in his entire speech about Larry, and I do wonder why. A 10-minute video would have sufficed if you really felt you need to do one, not all this boring waffling on. Oh, some people like it, others don't, Deborah. It's your sort of behaviour that sullies this subject totally. What? Turning at a conference wearing strange clothing sullies this subject totally. Someone who's sitting in the room just listening and not doing anything wrong, not causing any trouble, sullies this subject totally, Deborah. Are you not pointing in the wrong direction for people who sully this subject totally? You're being removed from my Facebook friends list. Not as though you'll be bothered. No, I won't be that bothered, Deborah. You know, when people do that, it's like the rubbish taking itself out. And this video will be shared with everyone you named. Good, Deborah, that's what I wanted. As I said, my friends love it, my enemies hate it, which is exactly the response I wanted. Not impressed at all. Deborah, impressing you is not one of my objectives here. It's no wonder people cut you off. All that you are doing is bullying and taking sides. Who did I bully? Who did I bully on the day, Deborah? You couldn't even get one of the speakers' names right. We really don't need underhand people like you in the field. Well, unfortunately, Deborah, you've got them, whether you like it or not. And the Unofficial Alien Interview channel says, you owned yourself by watching it, lol. Nice one, Andrew, nice one. Deborah replies to Andrew here, purely because if he caught any footage of me and my friends at the conference, then I would have reported it as breach of privacy. Sadly, I'll never get that time back. What a waste. Well, unfortunately, Deborah, you know, if you in a public area, and if it's not commercial, I don't think you have the right to report it. Tits and bum tabloid. Oh God. Says to Deborah Singleton, tits and bum tabloid. We were talking about the Sun earlier on. I can see the front page. Buxom Benj in covert conference canoodle. That's very funny. That's very good. York. Donna Wellham says, I like York. Interesting place. It is, isn't it? Yeah. Lorraine Turner. Oh, this is an old one. Ratcliffe Infirmary site in Oxford. Lorraine Turner says, that hospital saved my life as a 4-day-old baby. I had major surgery. I was actually christened there because they thought I would die back in February 1954. I feel so sad to see what they've done to it now. I live in Australia after emigrating in 1983. Oh, Lorraine, yeah, it's nice to meet like someone with their own personal history of the old Ratcliffe maternity unit. This was before my time. I mean, by the time I started serving the original John Ratcliffe maternity unit, which was the first John Ratcliffe, that was actually the first hospital built on the John Ratcliffe site. That was well underway, and it was from what I gather, I actually met some of the staff that actually served there in the old RI, and they said it was a lovely place and they did a lot of good there. Anyways, nice to hear from you. Thank you for getting in touch. Someone from Australia who had a lot of interesting things to say about it back then. Okay, a person goes to OLM, the Unofficial Alien Interview channel says here, people who believe the Kinsella twins will believe anything. The duper's delight is on their faces 24/7. Andrew, I don't think that's fair. I mean, Philip and Ronnie, I think they believe what they say. I think they're being sincere. Now, I think they've gone down. I think they've been badly influenced by people who are sort of on the side of the likes of the people against Larry Warren. But I don't believe they're lying at all in any way. And here the Unofficial Alien Interview channel says here, on a person who goes to OLM, if David Young and the rest of the silly a-holes who attended the conference knew it was Ben Emlyn-Jones in disguise, how come it took them 4 days to start talking about it? LOL. They should have been given a gotcha Oscar. Andrew, that's an interesting point, isn't it? Yes. As I said, literally no one mentioned this. Nobody, and I predicted this would happen. Nobody mentioned any of these claims that were being made about people rumbling me until literally after I'd uploaded this video. I wonder why that is. Thank you very much. But Opie Evers said in reply, possibly because no one was bothered, yet he knew he was there and took photos of him ready as proof that they knew he was there. As to why he disguised himself is beyond me. It's all attention seeking. In fact, I went outside when he was going to, and I was going to ask him, but he walked away when I went out. It's all a bit silly. In his own words, he gets manic. Think about that. Also, not getting a reply to an email doesn't mean he was banned. Bless him. I don't remember that, Chris. I don't remember. I only saw you a few times. Mind you, I didn't sort of look around myself, but I was looking for suspicious glances. If you'd come up to me, I'd have had a nice David Jones conversation with you, If you'd handed me the card everyone was signing for Peter, I'd have signed it David Jones. Yeah, York. And Steve Bumbling says, these last two videos seriously smack of desperation. Yeah, well, you smack of desperation, mate, because you keep watching them, don't you? The Unofficial Alien Interview channel says here, I've noticed... Now, Andrew, I suggest my advice to you is you break contact with these people. If you don't get on with them, I've done this. I mean, I've also fallen out with a lot of the same people you've fallen out with. The thing to do is just separate yourself from them. Okay, go your own way. Don't talk unless they directly. Obviously, like if they start attacking you, you have to defend yourself. Indeed, I have done that. But apart from that, don't look at what they post. Don't follow them on social media. Just separate yourself from them. Go your own way, because you've done a lot of good of your own. You don't need to get so deeply involved in this drama. I mean, I try to minimize it. This is one of the few occasions I have got involved in drama. I was doing this video. I won't make a habit of it. You've got much more important things to do. As someone said to you, we've got more important things to do than this, Andrew. Andrew, you've got more important things to do than this. Whatever you think about these people, I know they have a very low opinion of you too, and they've said nasty things about you. Block them and move on, mate. Tony Hewitt says on A Person Goes to OLM, paranoid comes to mind. What a sad man. Which you, of course, have watched every moment of this video, haven't you? Snarnox says, what disguise did you use for the Skeptic event you went to a few years ago? Well remembered, Snarnock, yes. Yes, I won't have to do that anymore, I don't think. It was very simple. It was simply it was like an atheism t-shirt, my Brian Cox wig and sunglasses, that's all it was. I don't think I'll have to do that anymore now. I've not had to disguise myself at Skeptic events since then. Mind you, I'm going to another one. I'm going to another one in. I'm going to another one actually next week. All right. Andrew says another thing here about Sasha. Like I said, I can only repeat what I said before, Andrew. Leave it alone. Move on. Don't get into arguments with these people. It's not worth it. Just move on. You've fallen out. Go your separate ways. And Tits and Bum Tabloid says underneath, don't bring my name into this. Tits and Bum Tabloid. We've got Rupert Murdoch in chat, guys. We've got Rupert Murdoch posting comments. Tits and Bum Tabloid. Well, Tits and Bum. Funny enough, Tits and Bum Tabloid, whatever your real name is. They don't do it anymore, do they? It's been banned. I think it's probably the feminists banned it. But I mean, not that I read these things regularly, and of course, News of the World has gone now. But the Sun doesn't have page 3 anymore. A Person Goes to OLM. David Smith says on A Person Goes to OLM. Every time you mention Dogmen, it reminds me of the episode of This Country with the Fox twin story about the old guy Len says, I ain't never done it with no fox. God, oh yeah. Dogmen does not refer to any sexual practice. It's simply, literally, a humanoid with a canine head. A werewolf type creature. Opie Evers says on York, you state you've never been to York, and yet you was in York in your previous video. All right, Chris, I think you are Chris, aren't you? It's very simple, and I actually explain it in the York video. It's very simple. I shot these films together on the same outing. I went up to York on Thursday, shot the York video, then went to Hull and did the OLM video. But I uploaded the OLM video first. So basically, you've seen these videos in reverse order. I uploaded the second one I filmed first, and then uploaded the one I filmed. I uploaded the second video I filmed in York. I then uploaded first, and the first video I uploaded second. So this is why it looks like I'm actually in York before I actually am. So that's right. Okay, guys, I'm now going to go. That's it. That's YouTube done. Thank goodness for that. And I'm going to go across to BitChute. Now, the good news is BitChute now does have comments notifications, but they are unfortunately lumped in with all the other comments, so I'm going to have to go through them up. That is another video process. That's great. Is that working? This makes it, to do this as I go along makes it easier.
Guys, here we go.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Right. Okay, so I'm going to scroll through all my BitChute comments now. I've got how many? Oh God, I've got how many notifications? I've got 1,138 notifications. Bloody hell! Holy excrement! French election 2022 live stream is the first one. J Doe 68 says here. Reported by a CIA source to Restored Republic that Le Pen was given $300 million to lose the election. The report went on to say that's why she was smiling after she lost. Also, it said that the smile will not be taken off her face when she's hanged. Source restoredrepublic.co.on, May the 11th. Right. I don't know about that, Jay. The thing is, though, she was paid to lose the election. Yeah, she wasn't trying to lose the election, in my view. There's no sign that she was throwing it. I know a lot of people claim things like this. Oh, Le Pen is an insider. Trump is an insider. The QAnon thing was made up by the Koch brothers and things like that. It's almost an adaptation on the kind of Hawleyan paranoia, but it's within the truth movement. I don't think it works actually. So I'll look at I will look at what you said here, and I'll look at the source you said here. But I'm not convinced by what you said. If you've got evidence, you've got evidence. As for being hanged, I don't think anyone's going to be hanged. I think they'll be guillotined. That's what you do in France. But it won't be Marine Le Pen that's in the guillotine. That's all I can say legally. Amamamon says something rude, which I can't repeat. It's a slur, but I think that's silly. And Rising Patriots ProtonMail.com says here, the newly stolen election by Dominion machines in France may be the little gentle push that citizens in France need to wake up. The Macron reign of hell is just starting. Too bad the French forgot to step up before it's too late. Chalk another one up for the tyranny of Klaus Schwab, and maybe in 2017, 5 years hence, if the world isn't blown up by then. Well, I do think there's going to be some extrajudicial political manoeuvres in France, Rising Patriots, but there were no Dominion voting machines used in France except in just a couple of communes. Or apart from that, it was just paper only. This doesn't mean electoral fraud is impossible, but it's very different from the United States, very different indeed, where there was distinct evidence that very extreme electoral fraud went on. So that's that particular video done. Okay, so we're going to keep scrolling down. It's going to take a while to get through all these comments. Okay, we got York now. I'll comment on York. Every time I click on a video, I'll go through all the comments that are on that particular video. We have here. Why am I? Oh, unblock. What? Hang on. Oh no. What's this? Hang on. Okay. Pygmy Piggles says, "Great vid. Subscribed." Thank you very much, Pygmy Piggles. Hang on. Why does it say I've blocked this person? You've not currently any blocked users, right? I don't get that. Sorry, this is a weird thing. But thank you, Pygmy Piggles. I'm glad you liked it. Let's have a look at your channel. Oh, it doesn't. All right. There's a sign saying unmute, unblock. You have no muted users. Muted. Hang on. Okay. And unblock. It says blocked. What's going on? Maybe they blocked me. I don't know. I don't get that. I'll just have a look at my account. I might have to sort it out later. I've got a couple of trolls to get rid of on YouTube as well. Personal. Let's have a look. First name, social media. Oh dear. Interface. Notifications. Alright, channel referrals. I'll go through it later and I'll unblock anyone I accidentally block. As for YouTube, I'll go back and get rid of all the trolls later. There's a couple of troll comments I didn't have time to delete. Right, into the triangle. There we go. Woden 20 says they did rig the French election. A slight tear was on Le Pen's ballots equals spoilt, with an unusual amount of spoilt ballots in one election. No spoilt ballots for Macron. Right, Woden. It's interesting you say that because someone else said that on the video I did about this. If that's true, then that is evidence of electoral tampering. Yes. Let's carry on scrolling down. I can't get all these damn notifications. What's that up there about? Hang on a sec, there's something interesting there. Right, okay. Sorry, oh, yeah, Oxford May Morning. Oh, it's an old one. Good. This is why I like they got notifications on BitChute now, because people will post stuff on my old comments and I wouldn't see them anywhere. You know. Making gains. This is Oxford May Morning. Any more videos on this subject? Well, making gains. Unfortunately, I don't. I was thinking of going and filming May Morning this year, and I didn't. I've got to say, I couldn't be bothered to get out of bed. I'm sorry, I really am. But maybe I'll do it next year. Maybe I'll go back to do May Morning again. But there's other users have actually posted May Morning footage. Oh, and is Paul McCartney dead? Right. The girl from Bulwarking says, "Bro, don't you know how to hold a camera? Jeez." Right. Oh, that's the one with Nick Colostrum. Yeah. Well, it was just the joints were a bit stiff on the tripod. Sorry about that. Texas Forever says the Beatles were okay. They never got as big as Willie Nelson. What? It's not. That sounds like an Alan Partridge joke. Willie Nelson. Oh, only the band the Beatles could have been. Yeah. Scrolling down. Blah de blah de blah. Sorry this is taking so long, ladies and gents. There's no quick way around this. Here we go. UFO Disclosure 2021, the year of the century. Another old one. Thanks BitChute for putting notifications on. And indeed, I've got some really, really old comments here as well. John Doe says, good to see you on BitChute, Ben. I can reply to the old comments. Great, which I couldn't before. So I didn't get notifications. Good to see you on BitChute, Ben. Unfortunately, YouTube is now completely compromised. Censorship is running rampant at YouTube HQ. BitChute is definitely growing, a great platform. That was a year ago. I think that's true, isn't it, John? Insert pie now. I've just subbed over here on BitChute. YouTube is cancer. Good luck, Ben. Cheers. Thanks very much. That was a year ago as well. And 12 days ago, we have Stephen Hatford saying, Trump hat no good. Trump hat, no good. I was wearing the Trump hat, wasn't I? Oh, no, it was up. It was hanging up. No, I don't agree, Stephen. I think the Trump hat, which is hanging up in my studio area, is actually very good. I think it is very good indeed. Scroll down. How am I doing here? Hang on a sec. How am I doing for time? Just curious. Yeah, oh, good. This is going to be a long one, I think. Have I got any more? Where are we getting to now? Bloody. How long does it take to 1,148 notifications? Here we go. Right, The Secrets of Newbury 2, another old one. Well, quite old. UV says, itinerary for other viewers. Newbury, Littlecote House, Hungerford, Donington Castle, Shore House. Oh, thank you very much. Right. Thank you very much for doing that. That's like somebody putting a contents list on my video, which I didn't do. So thank you, UV. Much appreciated. Scrolling down a bit further. And that's it. Okay, that's BitChute over with. Right, so now we go on to Odyssey. Although I don't recall any comments notifications at all. Someone has said maybe they're just not very. No, it's not working. Come on. Oh, here we go. Right, I'll go to my channel. I've got anything on the notifications? Nope. It could be this. Oh, hang on. Here's someone's commented on York. Right. I'll tell you what, I'll go through all the videos on my channel, see, on ones I did since the last comments reply video. Oh, come on. Ben the JR Porter. That's it, Ben the JR Porter. Okay, the day that Worth stood still watch party introduction. No comments. French election 2022 live stream. Oh, we've got here. Just a pause on that. Artistic Genius says elections are selections. Trump was selected, and he will be again. Trump is great friends with Macron. Trump was not. So Trump is a true outsider who attacked the New World Order. Artistic Genius. I know a lot of people say no, Trump's another insider, but he's not. I've done entire videos explaining why that is the case. So really, I think you're wrong. As for him being friends with Macron, he may be civil to certain people, like he was civil to the Clintons. This doesn't make them friends. Into the triangle. I've always got to hit pause because the play starts automatically. But anyway, we have Artistic Genius again. Did you have a nice cup of tea? Oh, you did, thanks, Artistic Genius, in a lovely mug, which I've got my own one now. So thank you very much, I did. The Day the Earth Stood Still, a watch party review. No comments.
Stop the news.
A person goes to OLM. I do have a. Oh, it's Shelley. Hey, how you doing, Shelley? Hope you're doing well. It's Shelley of the Red. Again, she's very good. She's got a good channel of her own. Oh, come on. Why won't it post? Oh, probably because I'm just putting extra. There we go. Shelley of the Red says, "Lol, that was great. Pretty bold. I'm picturing someone having recognised you." And pulling your hat and glasses off and making the big stink in front of everyone. Headlines the next day: UFO enthusiast dawns disguise and defies organisers in order to stay informed on the flying saucer scoops. Thank you, Shelley. Yes. That's a good UFO enthusiast dons disguise and defies organisers in order to stay informed on the flying saucer scoops. That's a very good one, Shelley. If there's ever a tabloid newspaper that covers ufology, I'm sure that they will put that on there. I'm sure they will. And finally, York. I know I've got a comment on there because I saw one. Okay. Oh, it's off topic. Okay. This is Taengen, who says Taengen. Off topic. Have you heard about the name Israel is based on three deities? Is, Isis moon, Egypt, Ra, Ammon Ra, and Egyptian El, old Jewish god. I didn't know. I've heard this. I have heard that. I've heard that it is actually they chose the name Israel for that reason, that it was the Freemasonic thing. However, Israel was actually a person in the Bible. It was. I can't remember what the story was, but I know he gets into a fight with somebody. I don't know if it's Abraham or something. But the word Israel in Hebrew means the one who fights God. I know that much. So that's all of Odyssey done. Now we now go on to Rumble. Rumble, we have the Day the Earth Stood Still watch party introductions. Now I do get notifications on Rumble, but I haven't been keeping up with them. No comments. That's on the Day the Earth Stood Still. Into the Triangle on Rumble. No comments. French election 2022 live stream on Rumble. No comments. The Day the Earth Stood Still watch party review on Rumble. No comments. A person goes to OLM on Rumble. No comments. York on Rumble. No comments. Okay, so that's Rumble done. So that's it actually. I've got a couple of the platforms I upload to, but they're not regularly. They're not ones I regularly use. I've got only a handful of videos on them, and I get notifications for them. So now I'll just go back to YouTube and see if I've got anything else since on the channel in terms of comments. Let's have a look on YouTube comments. I'll just go to now. The best thing to do is just simply open up a YouTube page and look at your notifications. Clive Hamilton, go.
Local fraudster.
Shut up, Clive Hamilton. I can't. Whenever I click YouTube, this is the page it always comes up with. Oh, I've got 8 notifications. It'll go down here a little bit. Oh, JamNoise72 says, "Don't feed the troll, bro." I won't. I promise. I don't feed them. I just slag them off and then move on. John Nolan replies on. That's on reply to comments. The last reply to comments. John Nolan says on The Day the Earth Stood Still watch party review. It's the Germans, Ben. He's channeling his inner Shrimpton. Phenomena Mag. No, that's just notifications for uploads. That's it. All done. Just do one refresh, and then I'll go to the YouTube homepage, do a refresh. That's a good refresh. Anything else? Nope, it's blank. No more notifications. Well, thank you very much, all of you, for those comments. They've been very interesting. Obviously, some have been friendly, some have been hostile. All of them make good material for this particular. Make very good material for this particular upload. So I appreciate that very much. And there will be another video coming very soon. There's going to be some. Basically, there's going to be some updates on the UFO situation very soon, I think. This incident in the United States that's happening next week. I may well do a live stream about it on Wednesday before I go off the probe, depending on what happens. But thank you very much for all of you for doing these comments. Literally, it's self-explanatory. If it wasn't for your comments, there would be no comments reply video. I hope you've all enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching HPANWO TV. Hospital port as pride and dignity. Stop the New World Order.